Wareham. It is Wednesday, August 21st, and we have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. This morning, a love story all the way from Uganda to the United States. We'll be hosting Stephanie and Emmanuel Obote. Also, a visit to a local art farm where art grows. And prepare to laugh, because this morning for our coffee segment, we'll be featuring comedian Sarah Martin. But before any of that, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned, because the weather and the news headlines are next. It's been hot out there, but I am really not troubled by that. What troubles me is the humidity. Okay, yesterday was a little better. So today it's going to be 83 degrees. That's the peak of the temperature. And there's a possibility of showers or thunderstorms tonight with low at 73. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible, high at 88. Partly cloudy skies at night with low at 64. And there were plenty of news headlines. So here are the news stories. We're going to start our story with a big meeting that took place last night. A Quincy-based development, Notos Group, unveiled their plans for a casino, horse racing, and a horse racing complex in Wareham during last night's Selectmen meeting. According to Selectmen Chair Patrick Tropiano, a casino, racetrack, and an accompanying sports complex will be constructed at Glen Cherry Road, land currently owned by Graziano Ready Mix, a gravel and concrete products company. The land abuts Route 25. Massachusetts law allows for 3 casinos in the state, 1 in each of the 3 regions. The other 2 regions already have casinos. That is Encore Boston Harbor in Everett, which opened up on June 23rd, and MGM Springfield in Springfield. The state's expanded Gaming Act also created 1 license for a slots-only facility with no table games. The license is held by Plain Ridge Park Casino in Plainville. The law also sets out a variety of criteria that developers of a proposed casino must meet. That includes a minimum licensing fee of $85 million, a capital investment of at least $500 million, and an inclusion of a hotel. Developers must also sign a host community agreement, which can include community impact fee. The state receives 25% of the gross gaming revenues at any casino. Horse racing is also licensed by the Gaming Commission. And to another news of the day, as lawyers prepare for a criminal larceny trial of a former Carver Marion Wareham Regional Refuse Disposal District Executive Director Ray Pickles, they and a judge are wrestling with how to handle evidence now sitting at on a computer owned by the district. The district turned the computer over to the state as part of the investigation of Pico's conduct. It is now in the hands of a digital forensic specialist. But how to handle what is found on the hard drive involves issues of attorney-client privilege. The files on the computer might be relevant to both Pico's case and to the criminal case against Robert Tinkham, who formerly served as the chair of the board. The civil lawsuit against Pico's Tinkham and Pico's wife, Diana Bondi Pickles, is still in pre-trial phase at the Brockton Superior Court. And that's all for today's news headlines. We're going to take this short break and we'll be back with more.
Hi everybody, I'm Letitia Botino from WCTV, and I'm here with
Marie Ferrara from the Wareham Middle School Care Program, Operation Grandpals.
Missy Dezek, the director of the Wareham Council on Aging.
Taylor Gold, the activity director at All American Assisted Living in Wareham.
and we're here at the Operation Grandpals Luncheon in Wareham in the middle school library. So what is this event about and how did it start?
The class started 3 years ago. CARE has a lot of different classes like drama, gardening, music, chorus, and we wanted something new and refreshing. So we started to see that the seniors and the students were lacking a connection. So we decided to start an intergenerational program that bridged that gap between the young and the older generation. And that's the birth of Operation Grandpals.
I am the activity director, and Marie contacts me and she sets up visits to come over to visit our residents over at the All American Assisted Living.
I run the Council on Aging right across the way, so this is a great opportunity. We can walk right over here and the kids can walk right over to the Council on Aging and entertain us and interact with our seniors, which is great.
This is the last week of CARE, so the students run the class. I just approve everything. They facilitate the whole thing, from the luncheon with Kathy Martin and ask her if she would be willing to, in her cooking class, cook food for them, and she baked cookies, to the decorations, going to the other classes and asking them to create things for the luncheon. They email everybody, they take care of everything. So they were instrumental in the whole luncheon process of emailing the invitations, emailing the media, calling Lindsay's, who donated the salad for this luncheon. We only have 5 weeks. So in 5 weeks, this was the result of what the students did.
So welcome back. So this was last week. I believe it was Friday. Yes, Friday last week. I visited an art farm. And I know you're thinking, art farm, what does that mean? Well, it actually means a farm that grows art. I met with Diane, who is the owner of the art farm, and she showed us around what she grows there, and all her paintings, all her designs, all our little little art creatures, she got them from our farm. So here is a little bit about art farm. Well, hello, Wareham. Today we're coming to you from Art Farm, which is located right on Main Street in Wareham. This place is where inspiration and creativity runs freely. With me is Diane Nzn, who is the owner of this beautiful property, and today we are her guests. Could we take a look at the farm?
Of course you may. Thank you. Come on
Thank you.
Oh, why don't you take me to the moon? I'll fly with you in a balloon, and there you'll kiss me, and we will walk back to you.
Hey, well, thank you so much for having us here today. I am very curious to learn about the history of this beautiful property.
I found out years ago when I first bought this property that it was part of the Toby homestead.
Yes.
Originally, which was a lot of farmland. And this area has a lot of stone walls in it that were built back in that time. I also found out that the backside of my stone wall is the marker for the old stagecoach road that used to bypass the hill before they had automobiles. This was actually called, and some people still call it South Wareham.
South Wareham.
This one section.
Okay.
Oh, this is just happening all too soon. My life looks like a cartoon, and then you kiss me, and I'm all stuck with you.
Now, you told me before, you said when you came here the first time you saw this property, wasn't so promising. But you looked beyond that. And part of it is due to how you were raised, where you came from.
Right.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, growing up, I had 3 brothers, and one of them loved the outdoors. And he was nice enough to take his little sister with him all the time. So I learned a lot about the outdoors from my brother David, and pollywogs and salamanders and all those fun things. And my mother was appalled. The first daughter was coming home with things in her pockets. But that's initiated my love of the outdoors.
After 31 years working for the post office, Diane retired. Her current work revolves around her garden, growing her artwork. She opened up Art Farm stand this summer, inviting the public to admire, learn, and be inspired, featuring photographs from her garden, painted slates, herbs, Cape Cod decor wreath, and more. Each art piece is unique.
This one here is from a 600-year-old barn. They took the roof slates off a 600-year-old barn, and this was from Montana. And they're thicker than the ones that you find around here, because every quarry does it different, and depending on where they're going to be building, what they wanted for the size and the thickness of the slate.
You could tell, it's so layered.
Oh, this is just happening all too soon. My life looks like a cartoon, and then you kiss me, and I'm all stuck with you.
I love the story about this.
All right, these are smudge kits. The Native Americans and a lot of other native cultures across the world actually have similar practices. What they do in Native America is you take a shell from the local beach, and then they take herbs like sage, and what they do is you dry the sage, and you can crumple it up, and you put it in the base of the shell.
Okay.
And then you light the shell, and it will smolder.
Yeah.
Just make the smoke. And you take a native feather, and this is a wild turkey feather, and what you do is it's a ceremony of blessings. You wish good blessings or positive energy on your home, on your family, when someone's sick, when you have a new baby, anything. It's a way of celebrating life and to spread positive is what it is. Some people say it's more about getting rid of the negative. The way I look at it, it's more spreading the positive.
Yes.
If you spread the positive, you automatically get rid of the negative, right?
Forever and ever till the end of time.
My posted hours are 11 to 6, Thursdays through Saturdays.
Very good. Well, as for that, this concludes our tour. Thank you so much and have a lovely day. Bye.
Do, 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 do you.
You too can visit the art farm anytime you want. You just go there. And she said, if my car is on a driveway, you can feel free to come in and say hello. If the car is not on the driveway and if it's not the hours, there is a phone number there. Feel free to call her and she will reply to you within an hour. And those are her words. Anyhow, we are going to move on to our second segment of today. I hope you're hungry because I am. We will be making lobster pot pie with Scott Record. Oh. Good morning. Oh.
You'll get to see it, we'll get to taste it, and you'll get to make it. Well, here we are at Scott Record again. Going to make something real spectacular, I think. And just to be honest, this is my own personal creation. 5 or 6 years ago, if you went into popular restaurants with seafood, nobody had lobster pot pie. The way it came to me, I love chicken pot pie. So I decided, well, here I am. I live in the Cape. How about lobster pot pie? Lobster pot pie. So put it all together. It took me about 8 attempts to make it the way I liked it. Because you can't make lobster pot pie with a chicken gravy. So I figured, what can I use that would be lobster? lobster Newburg sauce. It's got a little bit of sherry in it, or it could be cognac, but there's egg yolks, there's cream, there's the same vegetables. So I did that, and I put it all together, and I used regular pie crust. It was too much crust. It was too crusty. It was all crusty crust. So I've refined it by several different methods, and now I like to use ramekins, like a 10-ounce ramekin, which is the little porcelain round circular dish, and I put the fixins inside, chunks of lobster, all the vegetables, whole cream, a little bit of sherry, and then on top, like 8 to 10 layers of phyllo pastry. It comes out just right. So this is how we're going to start. This is what we're going to do. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to do another magic trick. Nothing in my hands. Presto! Magic trick. This is, look at this. This is lobster meat.
I'd like you to meet my little friend.
This was a 5.5-pound lobster. Steamed it. I prefer steaming it. Decent sized chunks, but then I've kept big pieces of claw meat that I will be able to use on the tops of my presentation. Hold on. I'm also going to show you this. Presto! All right, this is phyllo dough. Greek phyllo dough. It's very, very, very thin dough. I've had this sitting out for 2 hours after it was sitting all night in the refrigerator because it's frozen in the store. But I like extra virgin olive oil. That helps the butter. Nina, don't lick. This is good. So the hardest thing, the most solid, the most firm vegetable I'm going to cook are the carrots. So I want to put them in first. I want those, it takes a while for them to soften. And that is about a cup of carrots. Now, what makes it for me with this recipe is the pearl onions. They're little, they're tiny, they're sweet. Parboiled them, put them in an ice bath, cut the tips off. And these shallots are minced up so small, and this is about half a cup of shallots. And it can be a little bit on the, yeah, it's more like 3/4 of a cup of shallots. Get them in there, saute those babies a little bit, because this onion sauce goes into the sauce and makes the sauce good. So now to add to this sauteing, just to get it warmed up, will be lobster meat. And I am not bashful with the lobster meat. I'm going to make up a few portions of this, so this just stays in for a little while just to get warm. Himalayan red salt, pink salt. Now I am going to put a little bit of nutmeg in. And then I'm also going to put some of those cayenne peppers that I had, and it's going to be a very, very small amount. That should do it, and that's for me. Now, Do I want cognac? Or do I want sherry? I think cognac, because the cognac has a bigger, broader nose to it. Just want to make sure it hasn't gone bad. Cognac is only wine that's 500 years old, so I don't think it's gone bad yet. But this is cool. I'm going to put in about 3 tablespoons and a half of cognac. This is the fresh parsley from the garden. And I'm going to put at least a cup and maybe 2. Drizzle it in very easily, because if it goes in all at once, it'll end up being scrambled eggs. These egg yolks will make this thicken up nicely. It's time to assemble my lobster pot pie with a Newburgh sauce. And these are the 10-ounce Pyrex baking dishes that I was talking about. I'm going to see how many I'm going to get out of this filling. And then we put the phyllo on. But it looks like I'm only going to get 6 on this cookie tin. So let's do 6 to start with and see what we get. It's all in here, man. This is cooking, baby. So we are going to take these with big chunks of lobster, peas. Look at that. How good does that look? That looks so sensational. Dad, why do you scrape the pan? Because that's the profits. All right. Who's got a little bit too much? Why don't you give up some of this over to here? How about you giving up some of that over here? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking good, man. Looking good, man. There's 6. Wait till you see the ending. The ending includes, and rightly so, phyllo pastry. This is a roll of phyllo pastry that is thoroughly defrosted. Now you can see these beautiful sheets of pastry, and that's good. Now, they will dry out so quickly. So I'm going to take a piece of plastic wrap that's bigger than they are and just put it over them like that. And then I will take a dish towel, a clean dish towel, wet it. I did this before, so you really soak it up really good, and then wring it out so it's like just wrung dry. Goes over the whole thing. And when you need to, you just flip it back and deal with it. Couple pieces buttered. Okay, and then it will go on. And I try to put them at little different angles every time they go on. Go ahead, Rick. This is good. Lobster pot pie with the essence of Newburgh sauce and 10 layers of phyllo pastry on top. As you can see, there's peas, there's pearl onions, there's carrots, there's whole cream. There's quite a bit going on there. It's pretty good stuff.
This is very good. You managed to make it, the taste is so light. You know, I know it has heavy cream in it,
right,
and a lot of butter, as it should, but
and
it somehow tastes so light. It's
and
even
cognac.
heavy.
There's cognac in there. There's everything, but it's it all melts together pretty good. Okay. And we're all going to come back, and we're going to make more different kinds of food for you. We might make a spinach pie. We might make ice cream. I'll make a Carvel cake from scratch. Whatever. We'll do something cool. If you have any ideas, write in to WCTV or write in to me. Look on YouTube. These are getting around, so we hope you enjoyed this.
Well, welcome back. So we're moving on with our other segment of the day. And this time I have a live guest in the studio, and prepare yourself to laugh because we are hosting Sarah Martin, who is going to be one of the comedians on October 5th at the VFW. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So you are going to be the only woman.
It happens.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot. So any nerves there? You're thinking like you're going to lay it out there?
No.
No. Anyhow, particular way you should dress maybe for the event?
Yeah, I mean, clearly I put a lot of effort in today. I was like, let me just pick up some jeans off the floor.
Yes.
And I think this shirt's clean, so I'm going to do that.
It's funny when I saw you because I was watching your YouTube videos, and I was like, you come in, and I'm like, that's exactly the same outfit.
I don't own a lot of clothes.
Is this your lucky shirt? Or your lucky jeans?
No, it's probably like one of 3 pairs. I tried to downsize when I moved into an apartment that's like has like an easy bake oven basically, and I live in a closet. Basically.
Oh, you live in a closet?
Yeah.
It's hard to find housing around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me, how does a beautiful lady such as yourself end up in comedy?
Ah, right. Who screwed me up? Yeah, no. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I got into comedy, I don't know, a while ago. It was like 11 years ago or whatever. I wanted to just give it a shot. Like I've always gotten in trouble, like in school and stuff, just having a smart mouth and making fun of, teachers. And, you're supposed to make fun of other students.
Yeah.
I took that to a different level sometimes. So.
You didn't bully your student, your fellow students?
No.
Yeah.
No, just the teachers got kicked out of some schools and stuff.
Oh my God! Where did you go to school?
Where didn't I would be maybe a more fair question sometimes, but yeah, no.
And I take it you weren't the only child in the house?
No.
Were you the last born or first?
That's funny. I'm the youngest kid, which
oh my God,
is typical, I guess, for comedians. A lot of the times they're the youngest child. I don't know whether it's just like you know what? Pay attention to me.
Pay attention to me.
I don't know what that is about. But
and I take it after your parents had you, they're like, nope, we're not having any more.
That's enough. Yeah, no.
So do you have sisters, brothers, a mix?
I have one sister. She lives in California, but I also grew up I was in group homes and foster homes, so I had like 8 million brothers and sisters technically. But
wow. Okay, so I take it the childhood wasn't a stable environment for you.
It was dreamy. Yeah. No. Yeah. It was anything that a kid could ask for.
I'm laughing because you're so okay of the whole thing. And I remember we were talking about how can you make fun of yourself.
Yeah.
And now I know part of your act maybe. So is this some of the things you talk about?
I should talk more about it, I feel like, but sometimes I don't know. It's just whatever comes up in my head most of the time, and like I kind of let the audience guide me a little bit as to where they want to go with things, because I don't know. I want to make it a show and an experience for everybody. But
So is it hard? When did you realize that you can talk about your past?
When did I realize that? A lot of therapy and copays. No, it's. When did I realize? I don't know. A long
You just
time
woke up
ago.
one day, you decided raised in foster care, it was the funniest thing ever.
Well, what are you going to do about it? Like, you can talk about it and you can make fun of yourself, or you can. I don't know what else you do with that. Like, I don't know what else you do
Do
with
people
that.
ever come to you and say, "Oh, okay, I had maybe a similar background, so maybe that's not funny"? Did anybody ever got offended with your act?
I've had people come up to me and thank me because I actually have talked about it, and they're like, "Oh, that never happens," you know.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of cool. Or people who are working in the field, which I did as well for a little bit, and then I was like, "Yeah, this all needs to be made fun of, all of it. Like, it's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous." But
Now, were you as funny like when you were younger? Were you doing comedy? Were you one of those where kids would be around you to be, to get some laughs and stuff like that?
I don't think I was like the typical class clown sort of person, but I think as I started to get older, I realized like, oh wait, there might be something to this, and that's why I'm like, I started getting kicked out, but people were laughing.
Oh.
And if I was looking back, like as an adult, I'd be like, that kid's funny, but like I can't let that be okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice. So tell me about your first time you did open mic. Is that
yeah.
That's how people get started, right?
Yeah.
So how was that? And what did you talk about?
Oh my God. I mean, I was 20 years old.
Okay.
So it was at the Vegas Lounge in Norwood, which is now closed. And there was like 5 people there, but I was like nervous, you know.
5 people in the audience?
Yeah, which like now it would make me more nervous probably.
Yeah, because the pool is so small.
Yeah.
Like, I can make eye contact with everybody.
Right, and no one wants to be like, I'm not gonna be the first person laughing. But, but yeah, no, it was. I don't know. I talked about just whatever was going on with me then. Jobs that I had had, like working at Toys R Us and silly things. And thankfully, my friend Rick came with me, and I don't know if he was laughing at me
Okay.
or with me,
Yeah.
but I was like, I think I got something to this. Like,
Nice.
so yeah.
But whatever it was made you feel very confident about yourself and your act because you pursued it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You kept doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, you gotta hate yourself on a certain level to keep pursuing it. I feel like to be like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk to strangers about my life in hopes that they accept it and laugh. If not, I'm gonna just go home and cry.
Yeah.
Like, no, there has to be something kind of wrong with you. I feel like to be like, I'm gonna keep doing comedy because you suck for the first couple of years. You suck at doing comedy, no matter how funny you are. I feel like most people are terrible at it for the first couple of years.
Nice. Okay. So those who are thinking of doing it or they're doing it, they're not getting any laughs, they should feel that it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Ask
you
for
gotta
that.
find your voice.
You gotta find your voice. So what's your voice?
I don't know yet, but no. I keep doing it. No, my voice is just, I think it's it's a shortened version of me now, as opposed to, I think it was just a lengthier explanation before.
Okay. You are non-apologetic. You say
Right.
it as it comes.
Right.
There's no filter anywhere. Just bleh,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately.
Or fortunately, I don't know. It depends.
So I feel like it's still a man's world in so many things, so many areas, cooking, you name it, journalism, you name it. So when I look at comedians, those who got their specials or have done specials, I look them on Netflix or Hulu, whatever. And especially for men, they'll be so vulgar, even women too. And I find that women are trying to catch up to whatever that manly act is. Do you find doing the same thing?
I don't know. I just do me. I feel like it's a better time now than it has been ever to be a woman in comedy. But you're just a comedian. I think that's the part that annoys me. People are like, "What's it like to be a woman in comedy?" It's
Yeah.
like, why don't we just be comedians? Can we just be that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it a better time now for a woman?
I just think there's been a few other trailblazers, if you will, who are like, let's make sure that this is okay so I don't have to fight the same fight. But it's still, I will be a lot of the times the only woman on a show, but half the time I don't think about it. You do the funny. I don't.
You do the funny.
Yeah.
So tell us about your writing process.
Writing process. Yeah.
You're like, I don't have any. What is that?
Right. No, it's mostly I will say something that I'm like, well, that's terribly inappropriate, and then I would make a note in my phone and say it on stage later. Like my writing process isn't great. Some people are really diligent about like, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write for an hour. Like, I'm not Jerry Seinfeld. I'm not organized. I don't have like a file in my computer for it. It's just notes in my phone, and then I'm like, what does this even mean? Kidnapped by a dolphin. Yeah.
Nice. So when you're watching movies or you're out watching other comedians doing their thing, what makes you laugh? Or when you're listening to them, do you listen to their jokes as, oh, that's funny, or like, I wonder what was the creating process here?
I don't know if I break it down to that sense, maybe in a movie or something like that, but like a stand-up thing, I'm like, they just broke down like a thought. Like my favorite is storytellers, you know?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love them too. Yeah, and somebody who takes you on a specific story.
And it's one little moment in time that they break down into about 5 minutes worth of time, where it's just like, someone holding a door. And that's 5 minutes of time. It's like, to break down that thought process, that's what I appreciate.
So do you do similar thing like that?
Sort of. I mean, I like storytelling for sure, but it's more of a sarcastic vibe, I guess, for myself. But that's what I appreciate the most.
Now, like, okay, those who are doing sports, they'll say they sacrifice so much, or you really have to bleed in and out, okay? When you're talking about comedy, especially with the past like yours, because some people will make fun of themselves. They will have a beautiful life, but just something about them, as soon as they get into the stage, you're like, that's the punchline, right?
Yeah.
But with you, where everything is mentally in your head, unless you utter them out loud, nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to dig deeper? And if so, are you afraid of that process? Like, if I want this joke to really be something, it means I have to open up about this, and that.
No, not necessarily.
No,
I feel like as long as I'm just me, it seems to work. I had somebody come up to me in New York, and they're like, "Oh, that's not a character," and I was like, "No, I'm just me."
You just laughing at me.
Yeah, just drink whiskey and go on stage. That's it's a magic trick.
It's
yeah.
a magic trick.
No.
Okay, and so how is dating life when you're a comedian?
Well, I'm married, so dating.
Oh, okay, so you figured that out.
Dating sucked, yeah.
Are you married to a fellow comedian?
No. Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
Why not?
I feel like that's complicated. That's like dating a coworker then if you're like, well, now I got to see you, and then you have to be like, oh, they got that show? Like, I didn't want to deal with that.
So your husband is your first audience of every joke?
Yeah, for sure. And he gets made fun of a lot. Thankfully, he has a great sense of humor. It's just as twisted, so.
So tell me how doing this has changed your life so far.
I mean, it's been the best thing, I think. It's a nice little outlet. It's been the worst thing, too, because there's not a lot of money in it.
That's what Angie was saying.
Yeah.
You have to love what you do.
Yeah.
Because it's not guaranteed.
No, you just have to keep plugging away at it and somehow make it work. Like, I do a lot of writing for other people, which makes more money than doing stand-up half the time. So.
Okay. So that's how you subsidize your income.
Yeah.
Very nice. So what should people expect out of you October 5th?
Nothing.
Nothing. Are you the first one on stage?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And nothing. You know that you're the ones going to be setting the whole tone.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
We'll get there. They might be made fun of.
Okay.
Don't intentionally come out and be like, make fun of me, because those people are annoying.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much for being in the studio this morning. I got to know you because I'll be there.
Awesome.
So at least I would say I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you'll be
regardless
like,
how they
I
act with-
don't know
I
her.
do not know her.
Yeah.
All right. So we were just talking with a fellow comedian, Sarah Martin, who is going to be the first one in a lineup on October 5th at the VFW. That's going to be a whole night of comedy acts. And AJ Halfpenny, who was here earlier this month, is also going to be there headlining the show, right? Is he the headliner?
No. Tony V is the headliner.
Tony Viz is the headliner. Okay, so we are going to take a brief break and we'll be back with more. Well, hello, and thank you for being with us this morning. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio in Wareham, and this is Good Morning Wareham, your source for local news, weather, traffic, and more information. And now for a moment in history, let's take a look at where we were today in history. on this day in state history, Hawaii became the fifth state of the United States in 1959. Polynesian voyagers were the first people to settle the Hawaiian Islands way back in the 8th century. American traders first made their way to the islands in the early 1700s. By the late 1800s, the last Hawaiian monarch was removed by Americans and the United States took the islands as protected land. Also today in Olympic history, Michael Phelps won the 8th medal in 2004. In the Athens Olympics alone, Michael brought home 6 gold and 2 bronze medals, winning various swimming competitions. He was just 19 years old at the time, and he would go on to compete in a total of 4 Olympic Games. In total, he has the most medals of an Olympian ever, with 28 medals, in which 23 are gold. Also today in art history, a man by the name of Perugia stole the Mona Lisa in 1911. The painting was shockingly missing for 2 years until 1913, when the thief called an art dealer demanding ransom for the painting. When he went to pick up the money, he was arrested. Thank goodness. And also today in birthday history, shout out goes to Stephanie, I believe that is Hellenberg. He was born in 1961. This marine biologist turned animator, was the creator of the cultural iconic SpongeBob SquarePants. He passed away last year due to complications of ALS. And happy birthday to everybody else celebrating their big day today. That is all for today in the history segment. To learn more cool historical facts, you can go online under history.com. Stay with us. The coffee segment is next. A love story to be told. We'll be back.
Are you tired of having to send money for your Office 365 subscription? Are you looking for other programs that you don't have to pay for? Here are a couple of solutions to some open source programs that you might want to check out. If you want a few great alternatives to Microsoft Office, try Apache OpenOffice or LibreOffice. Both are fantastic alternatives. Keep in mind that if you still need to create a Microsoft Word or Excel document, both are able to save files in the right formats. Another popular replacement for Microsoft Office is my personal favorite, Docs, which you can use free if you have a Gmail account. You can also use Google Slides for spreadsheets and Slides for slideshows, while saving files is easy if you use your Google Drive. If you're in the market for a new photo editing program, try Paint.net, which is completely free. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that Photoshop has, but it can still do basic photo editing, adjusting, and airbrushing. Another nifty program to try out if you're into sound editing is Audacity, which you can use on either a Windows or a Macintosh computer. Just search for Paint.net or Audacity on Google, and you can download both for free. If you're interested in learning about the basics of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and organizing files, come to our free intermediate computer classes, which will run on September 5th, September 12th, and September 19th next month at 1:30 p.m. on Thursdays here at the main library. You can also check out our website to find out more about our basic computer skills classes. If you have any questions or would like to register for any of these classes, you can contact me at the library at smiller@salesing.com.
Well, welcome back. And I'm sorry, we're kind of rushing here and there because we had a lot of content to fit in this 1 hour. So right now we're going to be hearing a love story all the way from Uganda, and now it's right here in the United States. We are joined by Stephanie and Emmanuel Obote.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
So you and I,
Yes.
this is our 3rd time.
Yes.
Okay. First time, and so was the second time, we were talking about you going to Kenya.
Yes, Kenya and Uganda. East
Kenya and
Africa.
Uganda, okay. You were doing missionary work
Yes.
there. So you went and we catched on, okay, what you did and all that and that. And then you went
Yes.
for the third time. Second?
I've been coming for about 5 years.
5 years. Okay, so this was your fifth time.
I think 7th time.
Holy Jita, 7 times. All right, lost count, 7 times.
And
A lot of time, yeah.
Yeah.
Just been going there for ministry.
So, tell me, because I'm going to start with you before we get to you, Emmanuel. So, things changed.
Yes.
You got married
Yes.
this time.
Yes.
So, tell me, how did you guys meet? How long have you been dating? How was the wedding?
We met through ministry at a friend's church, and we just start talking and getting to know each other. And
When was this? Was this the first, the fifth time? When was this?
I'm not exactly, can't remember.
Oh,
a while
okay.
ago.
All right. So all this time you and I were meeting and talking.
Yeah.
You were dating
Friends.
Emmanuel.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
you were
just
friends.
friends, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Emmanuel, when did things become serious?
It became serious around March this year.
Okay.
But we knew each other's before,
Yeah.
but we didn't pick any interest on each other's. Just a matter of knowing one another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what changed?
Well, I was interested in finding a companion, and I've been praying, and I talked to my director in Kenya, and he's the bishop pastor there, and we were talking, and he said, "This night I'm going to pray strongly for you, and that you'll find that companion. He's going to find you, and you're not going to find him."
Okay.
And then a few days later, Emmanuel and I started talking, and he told me everything that I had said in my private prayers and everything that I spoke prayers about with the bishop. And then he said, "Stephanie, will you be my wife?"
Nice.
Yeah, you know, it was a spirit attached to, and that was the Spirit of God.
Okay.
Because when I could see what you did yesterday and everything that you're doing yesterday through prayers, probably you have to know that that was the Spirit of God that was behind the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys then, this is your first time, right, Emmanuel?
My first time to
United
get
States.
the United States of America.
Okay, very good. And we have some pictures. I do not know. Are you guys throwing some pictures up there of the two couples? No, apparently not. Okay, so I had some few pictures that would serve this quite great this particular segment. But anyhow, tell me about your time here.
About
You just come in, what you liked, what events you
So far in
attended
America.
to.
oh my God, America is beautiful.
Oh, America is beautiful. Okay.
America is very beautiful. My first time to came up, I've spent now, I think it's 11 days
Oh, right.
in America. But so far, I've learned a lot of things.
Yeah, like what?
The culture and traditions and the way of living and the standard of living, oh my God, is quite far away
Yeah?
with Africa. I think we still have like 300 years in the future to catch up with this kind of life.
Now, I'm sure when you guys were talking, you would, Stephanie, you would tell
Tell him,
Emmanuel
yeah.
what to expect,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I see, I've been following your posts. You had McDonald's for the first time. Tell me the reaction about that.
Yeah, God has given us a grace and ability to do His work.
Okay.
Oh, sometimes she speaks and like, oh my God, let God help her to understand the mysteries behind this, because it is not a matter of show like the way comedian does
Yes.
and politician does, like a show off.
Okay.
But this is a making of God, whereby when God is using you, sometimes I don't know myself. You really realize that actually it is God now in me. Because there are things that happens at the end of the service or prayers, you realize that people are like amazed, and others are like, the fear of God has entered them, and they're like, no, I want to be like this man.
Yeah, like,
She says that many times. You like McDonald's, you like so and so.
yeah.
You get that? So,
But how
Oh,
was...
you're talking about Pastor McDonald.
Yeah.
No,
She's
this
talking
was
about the
McDonald's.
restaurant McDonald's.
oh, you're talking about that
It's
was
okay.
not food.
It's okay.
That's okay.
That was not food?
That
No.
was not food.
Well, it's spiritual food.
That was spiritual food. And then you went home and you cooked supper that day.
Oh, so we went, yeah, oh, she said,
We
yeah.
had to- yeah.
We went to McDonald's on the way to church, and it was not food. He's like, that they're poisoning America's children.
Yeah, I say that to her. because
Yeah.
When you look at the food and the taste, you really have a sense in your heart that this is not the right food for a human body.
Yeah.
For a human
And
body,
then
yeah.
you guys attended Cape Verdean Festival.
Oh, yes, yes, we
Okay.
just drove through it. And
Oh, you didn't go in.
no, but we saw the people
Mm-hmm.
when we went down to the beach to the festival.
Yeah, and you did kayaking.
Oh, yes,
You liked kayaking?
Yes, I like it.
That was his first time.
First time kayaking. Was it yours too?
Oh, no, I love boats. I grew
Okay.
up on Cape Cod and then moved to out west to Colorado. So.
So tell us, we have 2 minutes. Tell us what's going on with this love story.
Well,
When is Manuel going home?
we're working on ministry work here, and we'd like to do some fundraising because we take care of many orphans in East Africa.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we're looking at. And
We'd like to build a children's home there, and we help children here too.
Yeah. Very good.
yeah.
So far so good. 11 days in the United States. You had McDonald's, which you hated. You did kayaking, you loved.
He wants East African fish.
You like fish.
Yeah.
Okay, so and you been there 7 times. I'm sure
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
quite aware of the culture
Oh,
and the
yes.
norms of East African
Yeah.
people. Oh well, I wish we had plenty of time to catch up with you guys.
We'll have to
and
check in
Yeah,
another time.
you should come back before
Yeah.
you leave.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You need to come back,
Yeah.
and we can do a whole homage. We can pay
Yeah.
homage to your love story and being
Thank you.
here. This
Yeah,
journey.
the main thing and the main reason as to why I'm here is to file up her paperwork
Okay.
for the ministry because there's some of the paperwork that needs my signature.
Oh,
Lamb's Love
okay.
Ministry.
You get Lamb's Love Ministry East Africa.
And we can be
We're
found
in
on Facebook.
Uganda, in Kenya, and Tanzania.
Yes.
But we want to move everywhere because a part of
India,
it, we have a
Pakistan,
team
America.
that is already working in Pakistan.
Very nice.
Yeah, so the main thing is to file up her paperwork so that she may get that authorized document that permits her to work in Uganda without any problem. 2, I also want to come here without hindrance.
Yes.
Because as I talk now, I'm a new person.
Yes.
You get, and they don't consider me as a citizen. And yet, when I want to come and see my mother-in-law and the
And his
in-laws,
wife.
Yeah.
I don't need that restrictions.
Absolutely.
It's not right, yeah.
30 seconds, I do? I believe it's 30 seconds. Anyhow, I am so sorry. You need to come back again.
Yes.
I need to
Definitely.
come back.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to.
So thank you so much for joining us this morning. This particular show will be rebroadcasted this evening at 6 p.m. We'll also go on YouTube, Wareham Community Television on YouTube. With that, we'll be back here on Friday with more. So thank you so much, Wareham, for waking up early and to watch the show. Have a pleasant day. Bye.